Taurus, the devil is in the details for December. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Cello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome Tauruses to your aligned astro chat. This is the Transformational Tarot for December, and I cannot believe after this wild and crazy year, we are actually coming to the end of it, and we're still here, and we're still alive, we're still breathing, even if it is barely and only just. We are going to tap in and find out what the devil in the details means for you guys today. We are going to be pulling an overarching theme for your reading from the Sweet Ass Affirmations 2 deck by Rage Create. And then we are going to be pulling cards for you guys today from the Heavenly Bloom Tarot deck. This is Noah Aikida. This was the deck that was standing out to me for you guys. So without further ado, let's get to it. So yeah, the devil is in the details. I feel like, this is a month where you're going to be really tired. You're not going to want to have to pay attention to all the details. You're not necessarily going to want to, overly invest your time and your energy. You're going to want to be putting your focus to other things. But I do feel that being a little more detail oriented is actually going to work in your benefit, simply because this is a month. And I think collectively, and you don't need to be psychic to know that December is a month where a lot of people go through, reflection and making sure that, things are where you want them to be. And, we are moving forward into a new year and, setting different goals and things for ourselves in that regard. But I do feel that when we talk about the devil is in the details, I feel like for you, it's important to really pay attention to those details right now, because if you don't, when January, February, and March roll around, the first quarter of the year, you're going to be required to hit the ground running. And you want to be as prepared as you possibly can be. You don't want to have anything that I want to say is left undone. No surprises, no unexpected things, or where you go, oh shit, if only I had done this, or if only I had done that, I wouldn't be having to deal with this now. So the devil is in the details, and that feels really important. I am deeply loved, and I deeply love me. I love this message for you guys from your Divine Dream Team, because it really is true. And I feel like you Taurians, maybe more so than any of the other signs in the zodiac at this point, really need to believe this and to feel this and to apply this wisdom and this truth into your life. I feel almost like I want to say this is your circles of support. And obviously we're going to pull a card about, your circles of support, but I feel like that's what this is about, is lean into your angels and guides, lean into our unseen dream team for that assistance and that help, because you are loved. And I feel like this is not just love as feeling, this is love as frequency. And it is the frequency that is going to, I want to say, elevate us, get us to where it is that we really want to be going and need to be going, quite frankly, in our own personal lives, as well as from a collective perspective. Okay, so let's dive in and see where things are at for you right now in your transformational journey. What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? So yeah, Nine of Laurels. Laurels in this deck is Pentacles. I feel like this is where you really want to be. This is a card of gratitude. This is also a card of, I like to say, perseverance. Like I always talk about, the musician that puts a lot of time and effort and energy into perfecting their craft. And, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Laurels, represents them, sitting, performing, for masses of people in front of a concert where they get paid, a gajillion dollars to do it. And it's that energy of, ooh, this is really cool. Okay, I've arrived. and all of the hard work is paid off. And I'm so grateful to have been doing it. I feel, Taurus, that you're wanting to be here, but you're not necessarily fully feeling it. And this isn't a judgment. This isn't a tisk tisk, you need to feel more, grateful for the things that you have. Gratitude is, I want to say, the secret sauce. It's the secret ingredient in the recipe of life. It is what gives us, I want to say, our manifestings and the ability to co-create and all of those kinds of things. But we are human, and we do run into situations where we don't always feel this way. What I'm really drawn to in this particular depiction is that she's a falconer. She knows how to work with the falcon. She has developed a rapport and a relationship with this falcon, so that this falcon is willing to do what she asks, and comes back and brings her information, brings her guidance, brings her support. There is a mastery component to this, and normally I would say the Eight of Pentacles is really about mastery. But if we think about it in succession, if you have that card of mastery in the Eight of Pentacles, it stands to reason that you're now able to expand into that mastery and able to utilize it to your advantage. And I feel like when we're talking about where you're at right now, it's remembering your skill set, remembering that you have persevered, you have put the time and the effort into the practice and learning the skill, and cut yourself some slack. Yeah, the world is frustrating. Yeah, there are times when you're looking at it and you're going, I wish things could be really different. I would say to you, remember your skill set. Things can be different. It's a shift of the mindset. It's a shift of your perspective. And if we go back to that, the devil is in the details energy, it's paying attention to what details are really important, what details really matter, that are going to get you further along to where you want to be, not stuck in what I wish could be, what isn't. It's more of okay, I'm going to continue to persevere, and I'm going to take my wisdom and knowledge and my skills to the next level. I'm going to transfer these skills to up my game. And in that regard, I feel the shift, and I'm able to shift my mental energy, my emotional space, to meet where I really want to be, even if I'm struggling to feel as though that is possible, or a potential at this point is how I would describe that. Very interesting. I'm also really drawn to the yellow in that. Yellow is solar plexus chakra. So you are dealing with issues around your identity, who you are choosing to become. And maybe you're being a little hard on yourself in that regard. So I feel that there are going to be issues around your identity in terms of who you are as you persevere, as you make shifts and move into the next. This is your catalyst. What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Ooh, you got the moon. Loving this. Okay. So the first thing that's coming to my mind is things aren't always what they seem. And I feel like when we are looking at where you're at presently in December, and we look at the catalyst, it's the shift in perspective, rewriting the story, or moving forward towards where you want to be rather than focusing on where you're at or where you've been. And the moon is going to cast a different shadow, cast a different light, and a different perspective on where you can be going. I'm drawn in particular to this wolf. And I feel like, this wolf is very different than this dog. And this wolf, I keep feeling there's a lot of ancient wisdom that you can attach yourself to. That's interesting that that's the phrasing that I'm using, because normally I wouldn't say attach yourself to anything, but there's ancient wisdom you can attach yourself to. And in the attachment of this wisdom, you become it, you embody it. And when you embody it, I'm thinking, shamanistic energy for some of you. For others of you, it's reviewing the past from an observer's perspective, not getting all into the past, but observing it, reviewing it as an observer, and determining, okay, in the past, this and this was done and this was the outcome. So based on that, if that's the same outcome I want, then, it bears repeating. If that's not the outcome that I want, then I need to do something different. So I feel like this wolf is coming through, and I keep hearing the term lone wolf, to encourage you to look at all of the circumstances around you right now and to look at it from that observer's perspective and to determine what from the past can properly inform you, can advise you on what the next steps need to be. And I don't normally say, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, nobody needs to do anything. We all are free will and we're responsible for our own choices. When I'm using this term need, I feel like it's your guides indicating to you that choosing a lone wolf path in this particular window of time around this particular phase in your life is important, because then you're not being adversely influenced by other people's opinions, other people's past, other people's experiences. This has to come from you. And I feel like that's why the moon is being represented here rather than the sun. It's not about everything being all out in the open. It's about what have you internalized? And what have you internalized that is yours? And what have you internalized that's not yours? And when we're talking about this as a catalyst, what's fueling or hindering this shift and this transformation, the moon, I feel, is coming through to say you have options here. And the options may not look obvious. It may not be the same path that you took to get here. Yes, you're being reminded of your powers and reminded of your abilities and what you've worked hard to create. But the moon is not necessarily saying this is the path that you're supposed to take now. I feel like it's saying, remember who you are and remember the foundation that you have currently, because that is a solid foundation for you to be able to move into the next. You can tap into the ancient wisdom because that's now what is at hand for you. That's now what is being called to the surface. And, the moon also deals with the subconscious realm. And I feel like if you don't want this to block you, it's about setting that intention, talking to your guides, saying, show me in a gentle, loving way. Show me what it is that I need to see. Show me what is hidden from my knowledge and my conscience right now, or consciousness right now, so that I can become aware of it and implement it, integrate it, or so that I can heal it and release it. I feel, Tauruses, that you guys really are very much about intentional choices, intentional decision making. It's coming from within. It's an internal experience for you that you're going to be externalizing. Those around you are going to notice the externalization, but they're not part of the internalization process. So again, that lone wolf energy, there's a lot of work that's going to be happening on the inside for you. And, whether you choose to share it with others or not while you're in the process of it this month is totally up to you. There's no right or wrong decision there. But I will, and we will see, like with the circles of support. But I remind you, I am deeply loved and I deeply love me. That is where your circles of support, really are. It's connecting with self and source. That's where the secret is. A deep root, what deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Feeling a lack of disconnection, feeling like your situations are not going deep enough for you, are not hitting a level where you are feeling either like you can grow and expand, or feeling like you're really being seen and being recognized in the ways that you want to be. And I'm hearing that for a lot of you, you're going to this month be shown where you've been maybe blocking yourself, or where comfort has been getting in the way of expansion into this new uh, phase of life that you are dealing with at this time. I feel that there are a lot of shifts and changes that are happening for Taurus. And, Taurus is typically, just speaking, basic astrology, Taurus is typically can be stubborn and can find it difficult to change or to face change if it is not, I want to say, kind of within their control or within their purview, or when there isn't a strategy or a structure in place to be able to navigate it. This Three of Cups, and we're talking about that deep root, I feel very much that you would be able to handle the change a little bit more, or you'd be all in for the change a little bit more if it wasn't I just really am feeling here like you're surrounded by people and feeling like you're hiding in plain sight. It's like I'm surrounded by all these people, but nobody really sees me. Nobody really knows what it is that I'm going through, or nobody really understands me in the way that I feel that I understand them. I feel that there's very much this hiding in plain sight energy, and it hurts you. I feel like it hurts because what you're really craving is true connection, true partnership, true going into those deeper levels. And when you don't necessarily have that, and when everything gets really hard, really serious, I mean, you can handle it. You go into a mode where you're in, I call it triage mode. You're going in and you're like, okay, there's a crisis. And so we're just going to handle it on a case by case basis. And, I won't think about that today. I'll think about that tomorrow. And I feel like what is going to be healed on the other side of this is if you reach out a little bit more for help or support, if you don't let the seriousness take over fun every once in a while, like it's time for you to get out and either seek out these connections or open yourself to people to see where those connections can deepen, because you will then feel more supported. You will feel more of the I am deeply loved. And through other people's eyes, you're able to see yourself in a way that allows you to remember, why you deeply love yourself and why you are deeply loved. Lots of value and worth stuff going on here for you. Okay, what's dying or falling away for you at this time? What role pattern or identity has run its course? Interesting. So I feel a lot of like you're tired from an empathy perspective. You're tired. Normally you have a lot to give, a lot to offer, but you've just been dealing with your own stuff. And that empathy cup, I want to say, just really needs to be recharged. I'm also feeling issues around health and wellness that are coming up here. This can be mental health. It can be physical health. We can talk emotional health, energetic health, wherever this lands for you. This is putting structure around how you're feeling about it. And when we talk about what's dying away, I feel like it's the lack of structure, the idea that you have to go it alone, the idea that this health and healing, I'm going to say the health and healing on one level, it's important to surrender to it because there's only so much that you can control around it. But at the same time, it's encouraging you to surrender to one aspect of it so that you can then open yourself freely to the psychic realm, the intuitive realm, the spiritual realm, because I feel like that is where the healing is going to come from. The healing is in that level of connection, connecting to this. Connecting to humans, yes, get your circles of support, connect with people that fill you up, that genuinely want to help you, that you feel good around. But ultimately, I feel like the healing comes from within you. So it's like healing yourself so that you can then be a part of healing another. Highest phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Interesting. So I feel like with this Page of Wands, it's like anyone that comes to you as a willing student, as a person who genuinely wants to know or to understand or to learn from you, or to better themselves, and they're coming to you because they see something in you that they would like to emulate, they would like to understand. You've got all the patience and all the time and all the love in the world for that. Anyone that comes to you that gives a false sense of humility, that is not willing to learn, is wanting to tell you, like coming to you for help, but then wanting to tell you how it's done. This is an energy that you just can't tolerate. It's the energy that you're done. Stick a fork in, you're out. I feel like this coming up is going to be helping you to really discern people and types of energy that are really going to be supportive for you in this particular chapter or phase of your life. And anyone who doesn't fall into that category, I simply see you not having the time or the space or the energy, period. End of story. No discussion around it, just more of this would be the kind of thing where, you just stop responding to someone. You take a break. Or if it's someone that you've known for a really long time, you let them know, hey, you know what, I'm going through some stuff right now. I just, I kind of need to hermit, or I need to take my space. Thank you so much for reaching out, but I'll get back to you when I've got some time. Rather than feeling like you've got to justify yourself and have the deep conversation, I feel like you just don't have the energy for that. You're really wanting to work with people, places, and things in your life that want to work with you, that are eager to not only learn and take the information, but then to like apply it and to grow. You've got a lot on your plate here. So you don't have time to, I want to say, hold somebody's hand. You are looking to put more structure around things in your life and in your world. So you need someone who's going to bring their own self structure, not where they're looking for you to give them structure. So I feel like when we talk about this, sort of highest phoenix potential, I'm feeling here that you're making some changes in December to really shore up your own energy. This type of individual is going to give you energy. It's going to fill you up. It's going to feed you. The other types of energy, I feel, are going to detract from you. And that's what you don't have space for. You just don't have room for that in any way, shape, or form. What's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support your next phase? The Magician. I love this. Okay, so this is really important because I feel like all of this is transpiring so that you can reconnect with the magic within you. This is about reconnecting to your own power. Again, we started off with the 9 of Laurels, reminding yourself of all that you've done to develop your skills, to develop your craft, and that you do have the skill set. Not everybody can be a falconer. Not everybody has developed that relationship with the bird so that the bird, this is a predatory bird that, doesn't eat you alive and, comes to you and does your bidding, right? Because you have respect for them. So the Magician is coming through. I feel like in this next step, you're doing all of this so that you now can really manifest and co-create. And what I keep hearing is heal. Not only heal yourself, but I feel like this for a lot of you, for most of you, it's about the healing work that you're doing with others. And it's particular others. It's not just others in general, although for some of you, it may be that you may be in a healing career, and, this is going to affect broadly. And, we say the devil is in the details. and in those specifics, those individuals that are in your life that you are here to help and to support and all those things. But the healing is going to become more potent because you're more connected to yourself. And even though you're seeking maybe some external support or external validation, I feel like what's really transpiring this month is building up your trust and your faith in your own support, the internal support and the support from source energy, from your angels and guides. Also, I want to say to you, this card can indicate manipulative personalities around you, or a manipulative component within you. What I keep seeing here is, as you are preparing yourself, laying foundation for this aspect, I'm feeling very much that you are thwarting this or putting protective measures around this so that this actually doesn't happen to you. You aren't susceptible to somebody's manipulations. In fact, you see it and you call it out before you get sucked into it. And that feels like growth. So I feel like for a lot of you, that is going to feel like success. Like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not playing that game. I'm not going down that path with you. You in this process, what role are you playing and how are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Interesting. So this is your card, the Empress card. Well, actually, the Hierophant is your card, but the Empress also has a lot of Taurian energy. So I feel like for you, I don't want to say less is more in that, like, you need to starve yourself or, minimalist approach. But I do feel that the less you have to worry about, the less responsibility you have to this thing and that thing and the other thing. And the more focused you are on what you're choosing to put your time and your energy into is going to benefit you in really great ways. We talk about the Magician and what you are going to be manifesting and co-creating for yourself. The Empress is all about the co-creation and the abundance that comes with that. And so I feel like you want to step into this energy, even if you're not necessarily feeling it, even if you're, and look at how green everything is. She, in this deck, is representing healing. Yes, it's abundance, but it's also healing. She looks healed and she looks like a healer. If you're not feeling well and you see her standing, there might be like 4 different people in your midst, and she's standing there all in green and looking the way that she does. Your chances are you're going to lean into her for support and comfort or healing or, direction forward because she looks the part, right? So understand that you look the part. Now it's time to embrace that part. You're resisting some of this because you're tired. You're resisting some of this because I want to say you've been pulled in a number of different directions. But I do feel that is shifting and changing. And I would say look to this for the opportunity for you to find your flow again. You're always going to, have a circle of people around you that, you're beholden to or responsible for in, some way, shape, or form. That's just life. That's not going away. That's not going to change necessarily. But I do feel that there's a little bit of this, like an invitation for you to embody this a little bit more. And to do it one step at a time. This is not a time for you, Tauruses, to go big or go home in this regard. I feel like the go big or go home is the overarching approach or the overarching vision, and then the approach is one step at a time. Because I feel like you're already a little bit overwhelmed. We don't want to overwhelm you here. We're trying to reestablish balance. We're trying to reestablish balance from a healing perspective. Your healer needs to be in place because you are in the process of healing others. So I feel a lot of that energy, whether it's work or family or community, or healing yourself, being in a healing journey. This is the kind of the main focus here. All right, now we have your circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it a positive or a negative influence? Interesting. Four of Laurels. So, I was saying to you, like, less is more. This can be, Six of Laurels can be the card of greed, but Four of Laurels also indicates a lot of stinginess, hoarding, protecting things, keeping things close to your chest, not wanting to give it away because you're focused on how little of it you have. This might be the only thing. And so therefore I cannot give it away, and I do not want anyone to get wind of the fact that I've got it, because if they know, then they're going to come after me, and I'm too tired to fight, or I'm too tired to have to deal with that. So this is really interesting because I feel like that's why this lone wolf is coming up, why there's a little bit of this energy around hermiting for you, because yes, you're needing to recharge, but I also feel like you're not getting the things that you need from your circles of support right now because you feel the disconnection. You're working towards that reconnection. You're focusing on the connection to self and source, because when self and source connection is strong and solid, anything goes, like the sky's the limit, and you're not going to feel that lack or like the stinginess of, no, I got to keep everything to myself. You're going to be able to branch out a little bit more. So I would say this is actually here to help you if you look at it in the right way. It's almost like it's coming up to show you where you might be attaching to things out of fear or out of lack. And it's showing you where you might be leaning into that as a coping mechanism. And then when you see it, you can step back, right? It's not like you're all the way down the rabbit hole. This helps you to kind of pull back from that a little bit, remain open to the potentials and the possibilities. Four is also about manifesting. And so I feel like while you're wanting this deep connection and you're kind of in lone wolf mode, you're also, as you're in lone wolf mode, thinking ahead to the type of support that you would like moving forward when you are ready to kind of rejoin the world at large, so to speak. So you're trying to set yourself up for success here. Hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? Oh, I love it, the star. So I feel right now, Taurus, is like some of you have a really strong vision of where you're going, but you're not quite sure if you're going to reach it. You don't know if you're actually going to get there. Some of you are noticing that there are external forces that are getting in the way of your path. And some of you are looking at your path, fully accepting what is, but maybe not asking, what can I make out of this? And I feel like when we're talking about that, what are you dreaming of becoming? Of course, we all have the dream about reaching the vision and reaching the goal. I almost want to say to you, I feel like this card is representing hope. It's waving a hope flag in your face to say, don't lose hope. You're close. December is bringing you a little bit of respite. It's bringing you the opportunity to pay attention to the details within you so that you are set up for success for whatever is to come, in the new year, but also just in the next month, right? How things are playing out. I feel like a lot of you, this is connected to how you contribute to the world at large, almost a fear that you might not be worthy of what you're going for, or that because there have been so many shifts or changes that it might be a sign that you're on the wrong path, or even that you are like biting off more than you can chew. And I'm feeling with this star card that that's not the case at all. And then you want to dip your toes in source energy to clear the clutter. I'm hearing for a lot of you, a chakra balancing or a chakra cleanse, an energy cleanse, energy healing of any kind, some kind of modality would be really good for you guys right now. And maybe two sessions of it this month to help clear out the kind of the heaviness and the stuckness from the last couple of months, so that the clarity around where you're going and growing is viable and tangible for you. Because right now I feel like it feels big, it feels heavy, or it feels like it's impossible. It feels like it's, you know, it's never going to get there, or the work that it's going to take to get there feels daunting. And maybe you're not feeling like you've got the energy. Source wants to support you 100%. So let Source support you. Reconnect. All right, if you stay on course, this is the outcome. This is who you will be on the other side of this journey in December. What is the result of embracing the full birth and death, birth, and rebirth cycle? We have the Knight of Laurels. So lots of laurels, lots of pentacle energy. You're I want to say you're wanting to stay a bit grounded. You're wanting things to be peaceful, easeful. You're not looking for a lot of, you know, fast-paced action and doing lots of things and stuff. But I will say to you that the Knight of Laurels weakness sometimes is not taking action when it's like first offered, or when it's really required. Like I always like to say, this is a knight that is loyal. The knight joins the battle, but is always the last to join the battle. And not because they, you know, they're lazy or they don't want to, or whatever. It's that they're the one that always shows up late to the party. You tell them the party starts at 7 and, you know, they show up at 8:15 just because that's just the nature of who they are and how they roll, right? So I feel like for you guys, you don't want to embody that aspect of this card. Instead, you want to be loyal to yourself, but you also want to recognize where this can sometimes be a crutch, you know, where you decide, okay, I'm just going to kind of leisurely stop and smell the roses, and it becomes a bit of a distraction. It becomes a bit of a delay where there's procrastination. And I feel like what you want to be focusing on here by the end of December is a recharge and a reconnect, so that when this opportunity, this laurel, shows up in your path, you've got the energy and the space and the fortitude and the vision to say yes to it, to not delay, to move forward. And you are going to move forward with peace and ease. You're just not going to move forward with delay. And I feel like that's really important, especially with that Queen of Cups energy. Now that you've got proper strategy around how you're feeling about it, you now have more energy to be able to step in this way. Wow. Okay. So Taurus, that is your transformational tarot for December. It's going to be a really interesting month. I'm wishing you happy holidays. Really excited to be part of your life and your journey in 2026 with these videos and all of the other content that I provide. If you need any assistance, guidance, support at all, click on the link below, book a session with me. It is my year-end preview season right now. So if you are looking for a reading that's going to give you a sneak peek into what is coming up for you month by month for 2026. I will also put that link in the description below. They book up fast. So I recommend that if you want to, get in on that, it's my most popular limited time session that I do, and would love to connect with you. I also do the year-end transformation, which is extremely powerful. And that also gives you, kind of a preview as to what your soul's purpose is for this year and how you're going to be transforming in very unique ways to you. With that, sending you lots of love and support. We will see you on the flip side, and transform well.